Alrighty, y'all. How you gone? We're looking at the 2022 Toyota LandCruiser 70 series. Now, I have looked at many Aussie off-roading 4x4 videos in my spare time. It's some of the best content out there, for real. Between the landscapes, the awesome channels that are out there, and then, of course, some really cool Australian 4x4 rigs. But look, when it comes to bone stock, one of the coolest vehicles arguably on the face of the earth has got to be these 70 series Land Cruisers. These Toyotas here, they're awesome. We get absolutely nothing like it here in the U.S. The Land Cruiser we get is not like this at all. Of course, our Tacoma is different than the Hilux, and the Tundra is different from all these, right? The list goes on. We just don't get this vehicle. We don't get it. Ours are all jazzed up and modern and expensive, but this thing just looks old and in a good way. This thing looks like it's from like the 90s. It looks like it's super dependable and simple. No ridiculous, gaudy, luxurious frills here. This thing is straight up ready to just work and be dependable, and has this nice, clean, simple appearance. So comment down below if wherever you're watching for it, you get these vehicles, these trucks in your market, or if you don't and you wish you did. Right here, we don't get these. I wish we did. And I'm going to wish even more, I'm sure, after this video. This is a video from Car Expert, and this will be linked in the description down below. Now, this is a long video. Definitely make sure to check them out and watch this whole thing uninterrupted, as I will only be looking at a few bits and pieces just so we can get a picture of what this thing is like. And this was a Instagram DM suggestion from Dan. So thank you so much for that. Let's go.
I'm Paul. No, it's okay. We haven't started doing used car reviews. This is, in fact, brand new. It is the Toyota Land Cruiser.
See? He knows. People would think this is old. No, it's brand new. This is a 2022 model car.
70 series. And this right here is the SUV version of it. There's a few different ones. You've got a ute, you've got the SUV.
I love these different configurations. I really love how this one back there has steelies. But this one I would take out of them all. Because look at this, regular cab, you got this utility tray back here, the flatbed, and it just looks so freaking good. I can't believe you guys can purchase these. You're probably laughing right now if you're in Australia or New Zealand. You guys have it made with this thing. Pretty sure these would sell like hotcakes in the U.S., contrary to what automakers think here. But they don't do it. I know part of it's the chicken tax. I know part of it's that. But they also think we want these big, bloated, fancy trucks. And to be frank, a lot of people don't. I would buy this 3 times over one of these chromed up, weird, crazy, King Ranch trucks or whatever. No, I'll take this.
You've got a troop carrier as well, so there's one for every need. This is the top spec version. It's called the GXL. It's priced at a little over $71,000, but if that's too expensive, they do a...
Well, that is pricey, but it's not that pricey, actually. $55,000 US. Hell, all these trucks nowadays are like $60,000 to $100,000 US. They're just too expensive these days.
A version that's a little bit cheaper that has wind-up windows that is a little over $67,000. Now this,
I would take that one.
Competitors doesn't really have any. It used to compete with the Defender when that was brand new. Now that it has a new version that's a whole lot luxurious and very different to this, doesn't really have that as a competitor anymore. NLS9 powered ute. But anyway, external, 6 colors to pick from, all but this weird yellow shade that I've never seen these in, plus white, is an extra $675. I mean, what is there to say about the design? It looks like a brick, and I think that's why these are so synonymous with, I don't know, just tough conditions and being able to go anywhere. If you go to the middle of Australia, this is all you see. The bigger 200...
Yeah, that makes sense. It just looks old school in the best way. It looks simple. It looks reliable. It looks tough. I love it.
100 series Land Cruiser plus these. You'll rarely ever see other vehicles, and that's because these are so dependable and they never really change. So in terms of the design, you can see down here you've got these lashings of chrome, a big Toyota logo, big bit of bumper there. It really is quite a solid setup. Now you're not going to find any radars or any other fancy stuff down the front here. This car doesn't actually have any parking sensors, any cameras, anything sort of
doesn't
modern,
need them.
So
I'm imagining these just have to be like the top selling vehicle in this class, right? Like, they just have to be.
Let's whip around to the side. Now, down here, you've got a set of 16-inch alloy wheels.
Are those manual lockers up front, locking hubs?
You've got these sort of plastic arch protectors.
I mean, even modern Fords up until like 2019 or something, you had manual locking hubs, front hubs. So that would be kind of cool. Well, kind of weird, but cool.
Now, this is something you're not going to see on a lot of modern SUVs today, and that is an automatic locking hub. That means the vehicle's able to decide when it wants to engage the front axle.
Oh,
you can, though, lock it in. So if you are going to be doing a lot of heavy off-roading, when you do lock the hub in, it means that it's permanently engaged.
Right.
It's not going to accidentally unlock. But in the auto mode, when you switch between 2 high and 4 high, it'll determine when it wants to lock those hubs. In the previous generation, or the older version of the 7 Series, you had manually locking hubs. So you could, in theory, isolate the entire front axle from the drivetrain. That meant that if you had issues with it, you weren't going to run into any dramas when you're out in the middle of nowhere. So it is a slight compromise, but I guess for the ease of use, it means you don't have to hop out and engage the hubs every single time you want to go into a four-wheel drive mode. Now, you've also got a snorkel as standard. You've got
if I'm nitpicking,
a side indicator there.
Trust me, I am like drooling over this vehicle. If I'm nitpicking,
on the other side that goes up and down when the radio goes on and off, and you can manually.
The only thing I don't like, which this is seriously like not a big deal. That's the point of this. Is I don't care for the fact that it says LandCruiser on the snorkel, especially when it says LandCruiser right here on the door. Right, one of those has got to go. Seeing the same logo like really close to each other is kind of like goofy, right? But yeah, I would rather just this be a plain snorkel, or if this says LandCruiser right here, then maybe take that badge off. That's about it. Other than that
as well.
I'm loving it so far.
These are entirely manual on both sides.
Look at those old school mirrors
so
on a 2022 vehicle.
Toyota LandCruiser badge. You've got these metal side steps. You have central locking on this model, but you also have a keyhole to get you access if that fails.
Hell yeah.
To the back. So here you have a spare tyre on the back. It's a full-size all-terrain tyre. And then you have a split tailgate, so you can see it opens there in 2 parts. We'll have a closer look at that later on.
Oh, it's got the barn door style rear doors. Look at that. Boom, boom. They split vertically. God, this is crazy.
You have an indicator, brake light, and then another.
If you showed this to a bunch of Americans that had no idea about this, they would think you're reviewing like a 1994 Toyota or something. It's just so mind-blowing.
A high-mounted brake light as well, and the GXL badge, which signifies this is the top spec model. I understand why this exists. It's for people that want no fuss. A lot of the components in here are going to be the exact same as they were 20 or 30 years ago.
That's awesome.
You can get spares wherever you want, and if it does break down in the middle of nowhere, you can kind of just fix everything yourself.
Right.
Do you think a car like this should exist today, or do you reckon they should be done with it? Let me know your thoughts.
Yes, I wish this existed today. I used to joke around with friends, like car guys, saying like, I wish I could buy, you know, like a 1991 so-and-so. I used to joke saying like, I wish I could buy that brand new. Because yeah, it sucks, you know, buying cars that you love from the 80s, 90s, whatever, and they're 30, they're 40 years old, right? Even if you find like a low mileage one, I guess it's cool if it's in good shape for being that old, but it's still not like new, right? It would be awesome to have these types of reliable, simple cars and trucks from a time where they really built these things really well. Even here in America, a lot of older vehicles were just built better back in the day. You know, I have a 1995 Chevy truck. It was so simple, and I still have it. I don't want a new truck. I am keeping that thing as long as it will go. It literally runs too good. It starts every time. It purrs. It runs perfect. There's just no issues. And the thing has 250,000 miles. If I could buy a 1995 Chevy K1500 brand new, like today, that would be epic. The styling was so good. It runs just so good. It's so simple. The parts are dirt cheap. That's what Toyota's done with this thing. I think it's absolutely mind-blowing. I freaking love it. I think, hell yeah, they should do it, and I wish they did it here. It's just one of the coolest concepts, I swear.
So we are inside the
Look at the inside
series.
of this thing.
Let's start off with the key. Here it is here. So
it's so simple.
Traditional key. You can use that in the door slot, and you also
look
use
at even this key is old school.
You also have central locking as well. So
super simple key fob,
and then the Toyota logo on the back. I'll pop that in.
Painfully simple. I love it.
You're going to hear a noise. That's the aerial coming up.
Nice.
And the radio switching on. Now, in terms of the styling,
and
as you can imagine,
it's a manual transmission. Amen to that. How freaking cool.
It is fairly basic and straightforward. There's nothing too special here, and it's been like this for ages. They really haven't updated the styling a lot.
Look at that clock.
Outside temperature.
Oh my God.
Lap timer randomly.
That
now,
is literally like a similar
touch...
clock that I had in my 1989 Honda Civic Si that I used to have. Another car I would love to buy brand new today, but obviously that's not an option.
Points.
Yeah.
Very
hard, very durable stuff. I mean, this stuff's going to be easy to clean. It's going to be durable. Yeah, it's not soft touch, beautiful, so-and-so leather or whatever, Alcantara, suede, padded this, heated this, right? Yeah, it's definitely not luxurious, but it's durable and simple. And I think it looks good. You keep this clean because it's easy to keep clean. It's going to look good in there. The dash doesn't have to be soft according, in my opinion. You're not taking a nap on it, right?
Very hard, except the door rest, which is nice and soft. How
there
hard
you go.
Are they? Well, we've got our durometer. We've tested the main surfaces in this car. If you want to see how this compares to other cars we've tested before, have a look at the link in the description.
Now, that's cool. I've never seen that. So I don't even know what that is. I've never seen it in a car review. Very cool. Anyone want to comment what this is? It's probably something easy, and I kind of feel stupid for not knowing what it means. Durometer, something maybe about the thickness, maybe about how durable it is. I don't know.
Look, it feels pretty solid. There is a lot of flex in parts here. And even down to the bumper at the front there, it's got little rubber isolators on it as well. It's this type of stuff that makes this car durable. If this was all strong and sort of really well screwed in, it would become too brittle. Before we look at the infotainment system, I just want to run you through some of the buttons here. So you have this controller here for the aerial. You can actually set its maximum height. So if you're going into a car park or something,
that's cool.
have it max out a little lower.
Cool.
Over on this side, you have an idle up switch. This allows you to keep a higher idle speed. This is especially useful if you're starting in extremely cold climates. And
how freaking cool is that?
The car needs to get warmer quicker. And then finally, you have a manual DPF burn switch. So it does have an automatic diesel particulate filter burn that happens every 100 to 300 kilometers, but you can initiate it manually yourself using the button.
That's interesting. Wow, okay.
Let's down here, you've got two 2.1 amp charging points.
How perfect. You have basically a 90s super dependable diesel manual transmission Toyota truck, right? Or ute, I'm sorry, in this case. It's everything you want it to be for old school cool. But then you do have these hidden USBs, power outlets, so it's just got this tiny sprinkle of modern tech to make it convenient for nowadays. Like, obviously back in 1992, people didn't have iPhones in their pocket. So you do have just that little bit of modern convenience without ruining this old school feel of the vehicle.
But there is also one more 12 volt.
Love
it is just here, and it's actually a
It has a cigarette lighter in a 2022 vehicle. Now, I have some of these, of course, in my older vehicles I was mentioning, but I have never seen this in, we have a 2022 Subaru, first new car I've had in forever, and yeah, there's no cigarette lighter in there.
Cigarette lighter as well. I remember when I was a kid.
Those are long gone.
Car and I didn't really know what this did. I pushed it in, it came out, and I touched it and like incinerated my finger.
They get hot.
This is one of the few cars on the market that still actually has a cigarette lighter.
That's
even has
amazing.
An ashtray there for your durries. I know how much you tradies like your durries.
Yeah, I don't use the ashtray for, I guess, its intended function, but I do. They're useful on older cars for like storing coins and stuff, right? So
your ashtray's there, and then you can also store your durries over there if you want. In terms of other storage, you need to put your phone somewhere. It slots in beautifully down the front there while it's charging. Okay, let's talk comfort. So the good news is that air conditioning is now standard. It's not optional on these.
Look at that. Even that is hella old school looking. Look at that.
Anymore. Up the top there, you have a lever here that controls.
I just can't believe it.
Vents the air comes out of. You've got.
I have no doubt when I look at some of these pieces from this vehicle, like this panel here and these switches, I have no doubt this is from like a 1992 parts bin, Toyota parts bin. This is ancient stuff, still brand new. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure these are legitimate old. I freaking love it.
From cold to hot. Now this is interesting. So you've got your fan speed controller here, but then behind it is the AC controller. So you can actually determine how much the air conditioning is involved in the air that comes out. So it's quite an antiquated setup, but
that's different.
It actually works really well. And the air conditioner in this is killer.
Nice.
It is for hot Australian summers. This does a great job. Man, what a day. This feels quintessentially Australian. We're in the 70 series on the road. It's bloody hot outside. The air conditioning's cranked. everyone's happy. So what is powering this beast? So it's a 4.5 litre.
It's a V8 turbo diesel. How cool is that?
Turbocharged V8 diesel engine. Makes 151 kilowatts of power and 430 Newton meters of torque, and it's mated exclusively to a 5-speed manual, so no automatics and no 6 speeds available across the range.
No automatics available. There you go. This is a real vehicle right here. That's how it's done.
This is an interesting point.
Hell yeah.
The diesel. It's a V8 diesel. Only 400-ish Newton meters of torque. It really isn't a great deal. And there is a reason for that. This goes back to all the other points I made earlier about them using parts they know will last the test of time.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Those power numbers and torque numbers are significantly less than I would have guessed. I would have guessed more along the range of this had probably like 300-ish horsepower and maybe like 400, 500-ish pound-feet of torque. That's what I would have guessed. So definitely those numbers are a little lower than I would have thought, but they're still adequate. And of course, you know, when we're talking good gearing and final drive ratios and such, I'm sure the gearing can help make up for it. But most of all, it should be still adequate for most uses, and because it's a little lower on power, it's not squeezing like this crazy amount of power out of the engine, it's going to be reliable, right? That's true. So yeah, at the end of the day, you want this thing to perform and be super reliable, and that's what you're going to get with this vehicle. I have no doubt about it. I see a super strong looking solid front axle on this thing too. Again, bravo. This thing is freaking built.
Ground clearance of 230 millimeters. You have an approach angle of 33 degrees, which is the angle of the face.
That's really good, actually.
And then a departure angle of 23
Not bad
degrees,
either.
Which is the same, but in reverse. And then finally, you have a 700 millimeter wading depth. Now, it is worth noting, especially with the front and rear differential locks, that you can't use those on sealed surfaces. So
no, yeah, never use those on the street, that's for sure. You want to be in slip situations. Yeah, look at this thing. Off-roading is just so cool in
I'm now
Australia.
Completely out of the throttle. And you can see the revs have dived down. The car is now just using the sheer torque of the engine.
Oh, that thing is beautiful.
To get it up here in first gear without any throttle whatsoever. So Toyota LandCruiser 70 series. Look, I'm not going to pretend for 1 second that anything about this is modern. Let's just get that out of the way.
It's not, and that's what I love about it.
That this serves a purpose, and for so many people, these things are a workhorse. They're dependable. They need to work every single day. And by kind of perfecting the formula ages ago and not changing it, they've guaranteed that, and they just keep doing the same thing. So it's still built in Japan and still very dependable and reliable. And look, the best thing is, while they are expensive to buy to start with, they hold their value extremely well. So even if you've got one with 100, 200,000 Ks on the clock, they still are worth something down the track. Now, let me know in the comments section below.
Yeah, I freaking love it. That's my verdict. Absolutely love this thing. It's just one of the most wild vehicles. I remember the first time I saw one of these, believe it or not, on like a off-roading in Saudi Arabia in the desert video, reaction video, and I legitimately said like, oh, look at that cool like 80s Toyota. And everyone in the comments was like, no, that's like a 2021 Toyota. I'm like, huh? Like, are we talking about the same thing? Yeah, and I couldn't believe it, and then I researched it and found, oh, okay, that's right. And then I saw these in Australian videos, and you guys have said that, you know, I've gotten emails and such from people that watch the channel and showing some of their builds with these, and I'm just like, I can't believe that so many places like Australia get these things, and they're just, I mean, these are very popular for a reason. I'm not surprised. It's just so cool, and I can't believe we don't get anything like this in the U.S. It is a tragedy for Americans, I guess, because this is just, like I said, it's so cool. It's so unique from my perspective, where we don't get old school vehicles that are brand new like this. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I applaud them that they still make it. It's very fascinating to see in this modern world. Let's get real, like a 30-plus-year-old vehicle, just keep pumping them out year after year. They know it's durable. They know it's iconic. They know people like it, and they keep making them. How cool is that? We skipped around a lot here, so there's a lot to see in this video. Definitely use the link down there and check out the whole thing and browse their channel. Yeah, like I said, I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on this. And if you have one of these, go ahead and rub it in how much you love it and what you get to do with it. And I'm over here, with, well, no chance of getting one of these. How cool would it be if somehow I bought one of these and shipped it here? And I know it would be totally illegal. I wouldn't be able to register it because, we have to have vehicles imported that are 25 years old or older. If we want like a totally foreign market vehicle. But I'm just picturing driving one of these, maybe I could get away with it. Maybe I could buy a new one of these, ship it over here, and just say like, oh no, it's like a 1994 Toyota. They would probably think I wasn't lying. So there you go. Look, throw a like on there if you enjoyed this. Subscribe to be part of this amazing community. Australia, you always have very interesting car culture. I always say it. It's just super cool, and this is one of the examples of it. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker, and until next time, y'all. Catch you later.